nice long story. We started in 2017, and I think we will not stop because it will be a long-lasting DANUrB story. And in the end of this conference, we will establish the DANUrB International Association, and hopefully it will be a successful cooperation, what we have started almost 5 years ago. And that is the aim, just to have this long-lasting, formal, institutionalized cooperation with the partners we have already established, this network, and hopefully we will in the future. So as we will continue, I give the floor back to Bari. Thank you.
So good morning, everybody, and thank you, Anna-Marie. I'm Bálint Kádár from the lead partner, Budapest University of Technology Economics, lead partner of DANUrB project. It's an Interreg Danube transnational program project, and this is our first international conference, Saving Values. I just will introduce you why we are here and what do we want to do by this. So we are here for several reasons. First of all, in our first DANUrB project, we started our journey in Esztergom Párkány, Esztergom Sturovo, and then actually ended it here with a nice Danube Days festival. It's a nice tradition that we try to create along the Danube. So this is a symbolic place for us, and it was since the beginning of the start of this program, because it is a twin city on the border of Slovakia and Hungary, which has a very interesting history, but today they can cooperate somehow and be somehow united, which is demonstrated by the events starting today at 1:30 on the bridge. Those arriving to Esztergom yesterday could see the bridge lighted in the national colors of the two states, because it was exactly 20 years ago that the bridge was reconstructed, reconnecting two cities that belong somehow together and reconnecting two nations and the region. This bridge, built in the late 19th century, was always a very important connection, but it was twice destroyed. And the last time in the Second World War, it was being exploded by the German troops. But unfortunately, after that, for decades, it stood without being reconstructed. And actually, while we are very proud of this happening that was actually enabling 20 years ago to reconstruct the bridge, is because it was not a political act, it was a civil act. 20 years ago, it was the moment when two civil associations from Párkány-Sturovo and from Esztergom achieved their goal to make the bridge reconstructed, because they had to go to the EU, not the governments, but the civil movement, to say, hey, we have this bridge. It was not reconstructed since the World War. Why not reconstruct it? And the EU said, yes, we have the funds for it. So please, dear governments, reconstruct the bridge. And it happened. So it was a bottom-up movement to reconnect these two cities and these two nations. And we are celebrating exactly today the 20th anniversary of that. And as I told you, we are celebrating like 3-4 years of our own somehow bottom-up, somehow cooperative existence. We were here in 2017 with a large group. Many of you were in this photo, and started a big cooperation, which is this DANUrB cooperation. And actually, in this symbolic place for us, like between two countries, two cities united, we initiated our big partnership of many, many partners. Together with the two DANUrB projects that you see in the dates, and now we have side projects as well, like this Danube Small Medium Cities Erasmus Plus project. We are having more than 30 partners, more than 30-40 cities connected by this program. which tries to get out of the capital cities and make some influence along the Danube to uprise the communities of smaller and medium cities by the Danube. And we had a lot of results in the first period of this Interreg project that I will not present today because we have many, many days of this journey from our DANUrB partner meeting. This is not the one, but we had many, many achievements, and we won the second chance from Interreg to continue this project and to extend our cooperation and make real pilot projects, action plans, to involve more schools, more stakeholders, to make cooperatives, to make an atlas, film, and other very important achievements that we are working on right now. And one of these achievements is happening today after this conference. It will be the foundation of the DANUrB International Association, which will guarantee, first of all, to curate the Danube quality label, one of the achievements we want to do in DANUrB, and second, to keep together this wonderful big partnership, which has to be formalized in the form of an association, not only just an Interreg project. So that will happen also today. But before that, of course, we both here, online and offline, some of the very good projects that are very similar to DANUrB. They work with the same enthusiasm and the same topics of heritage and values along the Danube, how to connect them in a bigger perspective, in a bigger system. And these projects will be presented very shortly today. It will be not a conference of in-depth knowledge, but of networking and partnership and getting to know each other. So I ask all these organizations and projects to present themselves shortly now. This is why we are here. Finally, many of us can be here personally, some of us online, but we organize it like that. So we start with some online presentation from Live Danube Free Sky, from Amazon of Europe Bike Trail Project, from the Danube Network of Europe and the Reconnecting project, and the Danube-related parts of the new European Bauhaus. So we start with this session now, and we are eager to have not only partners as our stakeholders and the cities we work with, but to have a partnership among these projects to cooperate together, because you know that all of the goal that we have, all of these projects, is to make something more substantial, more united, more systematic along the Danube that can give better perspectives for the future of this region and this river. So saying that we are doing these conferences is only the first of three, to unite a bit the forces and to be able to make the joint efforts of our project to turn it into a bigger effort, to make something meaningful out of the Danube, to give it more meaning than just the most well-known river maybe in Europe, the most international Europe, yes, river in the world. But what does it mean? We want to fill this with meaning, and we want to join our forces to make really good, authentic services and a big network along the Danube. We call it the Danube Cultural Promenade. That's our term, but we invite you all to be part of it. So we would be very happy to get to know more of this project. So this should start if I find the right scene. It will be here somewhere. How to stop sharing.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
So until you have the, I hope that we will be able to hear our online partners. So I'm asking Eva Korkova from Live Danube Free Sky to present your project. Unfortunately, I have a very short time for each presentation. so maybe we have to interrupt if it's too long, but don't think of it as the event where you are all presenting all the details of your project, but just to introduce ourselves to each other, to get to know each other.
Okay, thank you very much. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, everyone. So my name is Eva Horková, and I hope that you can hear me properly.
I can hear you. I don't know if they hear you in Estonian.
Okay. Because they are quiet, so I'm not sure right now.
Balint?
Can't hear you.
Balint, do you hear us?
Now, yes.
Okay, so can I continue?
Great, we hear you.
Okay,
yes,
great.
Please continue.
Okay, so shortly an introduction for myself. So I work at the non-governmental organization, Raptor Protection of Slovakia, which is focusing on the conservation of wild birds of prey and birds in general. I am communications manager of the Live Danube Free Sky project, which I'm about to introduce you right now. This is the LIFE project, and it means that it is like co-finance from the LIFE program of the European Union, belonging to the nature protection category. The coordinating beneficiary or partner is our organization, and we started in September last year, and the project will last 5.5 years. We have 15 project partners from 7 European countries, and it is like the connection of non-governmental organizations focusing on birds protection mainly, and national parks, and we also have energy companies involved in our project, which we are very happy about it, and also one railway company. Regarding the geographical scope of the project area, it consists of 23 special protection areas, which are part of the Natura 2000 site. Hence, you can see the Natura 2000 logo on our communications as well. Our project area also covers 9 important bird areas, which we will focusing on our measures. And the main goal of our project is basically the conservation of birds and to eliminate the risk of collisions with above grounded power lines and electrocution. We are focusing on 12 target species, but of course many more bird species will benefit from the actions or measures realized under the project. The Danube and its value for birds. So I would like to mention some things regarding this. So the Danube is a very important migration corridor, stopover and wintering site for hundreds of bird species. And every year, millions of birds follow the Danube on their spring and autumn odyssey to and from their distant migrating group sites. Only the lower Danube and the Danube Delta host some 360 species of birds. And many projects have been already realized with the aim to make the Danube and its areas even more attractive for birds, which is why we need to now focus on eliminating the dangers or the threats that those birds are facing in these areas. So moving to our project actions, is that one of the threats is preventing collisions. Collisions with power lines happens mostly when a bird is unable to detect the power line in time. And for this, we will install on the most dangerous section of power lines flight diverters for the better visibility. And we will also focusing on preventing the electrocution, which happens mostly where bird is going to land or perch on the dangerous utility pole, and it connects like 2 conductors at the same time. And for this, we will insulate the most dangerous poles. within the project areas to make them safer for birds. We will also support nesting and breeding opportunities in our project countries by installing 370 nest boxes, and we will transform also 10 hectares of arable land to the pastures in Slovakia in order to make the site more attractive for precious species of birds there. What is very important is also that we will raise awareness of this issue, not only within the expert and the interested groups, but also towards the general public. So we are planning to have several events in the project countries that will be focusing also on the natural beauties of the Danube and its region, its value, and really the importance from the very local level to the transnational one. We also plan to have a 3D online walking trail, and the idea is that it will cover sites from all project countries, also presenting some project actions, and it will bring nature and those sites to the homes of visitors who are unable to join in person, and also to those who are disabled. Also bird watching activities or events and in situ conservation actions, some guided tours and excursions will take place under the project, and we will cooperate with municipalities, local citizens, universities, schools, and other organizations. And regarding our project partnership, how we managed to get together 15 project partners. So I will mention two main points. And it was a successful live energy project conducted in Slovakia in 2014 to 2019, which actually has won the Live Awards in Nature Protection category this year. And while presenting the project Live Energy and its results on at the events, the connections were made, and under the Danube Parks Connected Interreg project, the representative of the project and our organizations get in touch with the partners from the Danube Parks Connected, and the cooperation were enhanced because in order to reach our goal to really make the Danube and its area like safer for birds, we needed to have as Danube-wide partnership as possible. So very important is for us is the involvement of the energy companies or power lines operators and the relevant company in Austria. And we are cooperating together, and it is like really the essential thing for us within this project, because otherwise we will not be able to have these measures planned. And so some insight or practices how we manage. It is kind of difficult because the project is started during the pandemic. So we are mostly working online, but looking forward to some in-person events. We have common project drive for sharing the information, reporting, and saving the files. Also, of course, we have online trainings in technical, financial, and communications specifications, and as well, we of course communicate via email, and some even prefer Facebook communication between the project partners. We have project board representing the project stakeholders, and we are meeting on the annual basis and per request. And we also plan to set up an advisory board with the external stakeholders to provide some insights, maybe advices, to share the knowledge between the interested partners and also the stakeholders who might be interested in our project or the topics we are covering. Regarding how we will sustain the network after the project, or what will be the action after the project to make it more sustainable. So the afterlife plan will be prepared, and it will describe on how we will communicate the project and its results after the project period. So we will not stop with the end of the project. We need to also focus on the period after, and also the transferability and replication plan will be prepared at the end of the project and distributed among stakeholders. And it will be including on how solutions and the methods proposed in the project might be applied in other geographic areas, in other habitats, or even to other species. And I will mention also the map of the priority areas for implementation of measures to protect birds from the power lines. And this will be updated and available also after the end of the project. So we are really hoping and expecting to have the long-term cooperation also with the energy sector. And while we will identify some dangerous section of power lines, which will not be covered under our project, we will be working on them continuously and also like staying in touch. So I will be very happy if you will join us on our social media. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Just type DANUrB Free Sky and you for sure will find our site. And we are also on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, like DANUrB Free Sky. And for some news and information, you can also visit our website, danubfreesky.eu. So I would like to thank you very much for the opportunity to introduce our project and to DANUrB Plus team. And hopefully we will stay in touch. I'm looking forward to the next presentations, and thank you very much for your attention. And have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Eva. And we appreciate your project very much. Also, it's very much connected to the others. You will see the next one, for example. We know that the bird life on the Danube is one of its big values and unique features. And that is true also for the Amazon of Europe, one of the regions less known as the Delta, but almost as rich in bird life and others. So now I want to ask Urška Dolina to talk about this region and the project related to bicycles, how to explore it on two wheels. So it will be the Amazon of Europe Bike Trail project. You hear Urška?
Thank you. Good morning, welcome from my side. I'm Urška Dolina from Slovenia, from Iskriva Institute for Development of Local Potentials. Oops, I apologize. So yes, we have many connecting points. I saw that it's really a pleasure to be with you today, and I wish I could be there live. And I saw that the partner or member of your project is also Kopačkirit, which is part of our area. And of course, culture and nature always go hand in hand. So we will be happy to establish even more synergies between what different projects have developed. So we have worked last 3.5 years on our bike trail, and I will shortly present you what are the results, and we'll be more than happy, yes, to cooperate further with you. So here is my presentation. Can you see it well in presentation mode?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. So I would invite you to discover the Amazon of Europe bike trail, which we tried to establish as a model of sustainable tourism development within the Amazon of Europe destination. So why we call it actually Amazon of Europe? It's because it's connecting a chain of 13 protected areas along the Mura, Drava, and Danube rivers. And it was on 15th of September also officially declared by UNESCO as the first 5-country biosphere reserve in the world. So like you said, Danube Delta is very famous for its biodiversity. And also this part of the 3 rivers is really special, and it has a lot of protected areas with special habitats, bird species, and so on. And there have been a lot of conservation efforts, but Of course, it's also essential to bring development opportunities to the people who live there, for the economy, for the NGOs. And that's why maybe even 10 years ago, the idea emerged about a bike trail that would connect all the areas. And then 3.5 years ago, we started our project. So this picture has to be updated because it says future biosphere reserve, and now the future is here already. So what we did, we actually connected existing cycling trails. You know that from Interreg projects, we cannot build infrastructure. So we connected either separate cycling lanes or existing biking paths going through different villages. In total length over 1,250 kilometers. So our route starts in Austria on the Mura River close to Graz. And then it goes on the north and south sides of Mura, Drava and the Danube. And then it finishes, so it goes also through Kopački, through Osijek, and then north towards Mohač, through Serbia, and finishes in Hungary. We also divided the route into daily stages that can be then cycled. We have altogether 27 daily stages, 11 on the north route and 16 on the south route. So as I mentioned, this is also the UNESCO protected area, and we are following the main and the Biosphere program pillars. And our project was co-funded by the Interreg Danube transnational program. It is connecting 15 partners from these 5 countries, so Austria, Slovenia, Croatia, Hungary, and Serbia. We have 4 topical partners like Iskriva, taking care of project development, management, marketing, and nature conservation. And we have 9 partners, which are regional coordinators. They are either regions, municipalities, tourism boards, entrepreneurship foundations, so different organizations representing the participating regions. So our project will now finish with the end of October, but we already have the follow-up project, which I will mention at the end. So why a model of tourism development? Because we believe that we need to bring development opportunities for the people who live in protected areas and to enable development which will take care of the visitor guidance, the carrying capacity of included ecosystems. So in a way that we can have a business model which will bring the money to the region, but also keep the protected areas as they should be, because this way they provide the benefit for the people who live there and for the visitors. And based on this, we can also then return to the people and also to the nature, which is enabling us to have this goal. So our development model contains 5 different pillars, and this is all what we worked on in the last period. So first, we created the international product and the brand. So it's this round logo that you see everywhere. And this is also the basis for the route that we signposted. So through all 5 countries, we have the same route signalization, but of course, yeah, adapted to national rules. And like I said, no new roads were built, but we were just using existing routes. Then the third pillar, of course, the most important one is the regional partnership, which resulted in the Amazon of Europe Bike Trail Destination Development Organization. I will tell you a few words more about this as well. Then our 4th pillar is the booking center we created. And last but not least, we have the so-called Cycle for Nature program, where part of the income will be devoted to nature protection projects. So based on all this, we started with one flagship international tourism product. And now we are moving towards Amazon of Europe destination. So we connected this whole area into one macro destination where we want to further develop responsible tourism and green tourism. So really taking into account all the sustainability aspects. Of course, it's not easy. I'm sure you know from your experience, we have a lot of things to work on, and COVID isn't helping in this regard, but anyway, we are optimistic. So our vision is that the Amazon of Europe bike trail becomes the most well-known long-distance bookable cycling trail in Europe, offering responsible travel to discover unique river landscapes along the Mura, Drava, and Danube. And since it's very important to offer the whole experience to the clients, our motto is that cyclists, they don't book info boards, websites, guides. They want to book the whole experience. So this was also what guided us throughout the process. So unfortunately, we cannot right now discover the area together. So I'm showing you a couple of photos. That was Kopachkiri. This is Drava in Međimurje, and Drava meander close to Virovitica. So you can see at least a little bit of this beautiful nature. And you can find out more about the whole trail on the website. So this is the product website that we developed, aoebiketrail.com, where also all the stages are presented and the main attractions. And beside that, on the website, you can also find the cycling guide and the link to the Outdoor Active app. So once you're on the road, you can follow also the GPX trail. And once you go cycling, in order not to get lost, the whole route is signposted. We have common info boards, so the big info boards that are installed at the end of each stage, so 30 altogether. And then also the small info boards presenting the most relevant attractions, 15 resting places. And of course, we utilized also the existing cycling infrastructure. A lot of projects have been already implemented, and we are happy to capitalize on integrating this infrastructure into our project. And over 1,300 road signs with the bike trail logo so that each cyclist can really follow the road. Now, what is also the topic of today, the partnership model. So we think it's really essential to keep these partnerships alive from different perspectives. So on this slide, you can see from the local to international level. So our aim is to connect the offer in this 5-country region and to jointly offer it to international cyclists. So the partnership has been working together already in the project. We have really strong links with the businesses, with the NGOs, with tourist guides, with museums and so on in the area. And now we have formed the so-called Destination Development Organization, which is an international institute. So it's the same like Iskriva, like a non-profit organization based in Slovenia. And now all the partners are joining it. So this was quite a long process to develop, and it's still not finished, but we count that in the following month or two, it will be done. And then the model works in a way that this Destination Development Organization licenses a booking center, which is the international tour operator taking care of the clients. So I have only 2 minutes left. I have to speed up a little bit.
Yeah, we have to keep time, yes.
Okay, just a second. So this is one photo from the meeting of June this year, when we finally, after a year and a half, managed to have a meeting together. So I was talking about the Destination Development Organization. So of course we have to take care of all these pillars to make sure that the destination will keep working. So with our booking center, we also had the first testing tour in September, and it was a big success, really positive remarks. So with November, we will open the booking center for the next season, which will start in April 22. And this will enable so that cyclists can book their cycling holiday for 1 week or so on. So it will be really individualized offer when you can select the starting day, the starting stage, how many people. So it's not group travel, but it's really completely individualized. And last word about the Cycle for Nature program, where we will share of the booking fee will be donated for nature conservation projects. And of course, we have long-term ambition to keep this all alive. So now within the Amazon of Europe, Amazing Amazon of Europe project, we are working on joint strategy for this destination and on 3 new international products. So if we started today, lessons learned, always to have clear vision and focus, what we want to achieve. Then teamwork makes the dream work. Of course, without a good team, nothing is possible. And all you need is just a little patience. So sometimes things go slower than anticipated, but at the end, they still come through. So I would like to thank you for your attention and hope to see you on the road. And if you need any more information, you have the link to the website and my email, and of course also on the Facebook and Instagram news are available.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we have to continue, and I will ask Carmen Stadler to present the project, also very much related to our project. I think of all of our projects, because we many times don't have time to involve. We want to get all the knowledge and heritage from these regions along the Danube, but don't have time to get involved with people who know most of it. And the project presented by Carmen now is actually aims to make visible the knowledge of older people who has still authentic knowledge. And we are very much interested in that. So please, Carmen, you're from the association Danube Networkers for Europe. And I give the word for you.
Thank you very much. My name is Carmen Stadelhofer, and I'm coming from Ulm, Germany. And I'm the coordinator of the network, Danube Networkers. It was stepped up in 2008, and we have a lot of experience since then. And so in 15 minutes, I can just give you some impression. But we are networkers, our name says it. And so I hope that we will networking today with the other projects and continue the contact we create today. I will just give you some impressions what we are doing, and I hope it will functioning well. So let us see. This is the presentation. So you see it, I hope.
Yes.
But it's not starting at the beginning. Why? I don't know. Ah, because I tried it before. So now. So it's a network for lifelong learning and civic participation along the Danube and in Europe. And our approach is strengthening the civic participation face-to-face and online. And we have a lot to do with what we heard this morning, because bridges is one of the most important things. We will build up bridges in reality, but also in heart. And we are networking, and the people behind us are very interested in culture, nature, and all what you said. And so I think we can connect each other. We are working with more than 100 civil society organizations working in the field of education, culture, social affairs, environment, with universities and schools, and 10 Danube countries are involved, but now also the other 4 countries coming from the Danube region. And these are society projects, but we are also going on to qualify to making seminaries, conferences, and so on. I will make you known. This is one of the project pages, but for every project we have our own website. And if you are interested in, you can have a look in and to study more in detail what we are doing. And we are widespread. You see, this was one of the last projects, but in every project there are different partners. And so you will see different cards, but all over the Danube. Eloise, this is it's called Institute for Virtual and Face-to-Face Learning in the area of adult education at Ulm University. It's a non-profit organization founded, it's a long time ago, but since 2013, Office of the Informal Education Network, Danube Networkers, and also of the association Danube Networkers for Europe, we founded in 2014. And it's a coordinator of many Danubian and European projects in cooperation with civil societies, as I said. Important is to say that we have in all these countries and places supporters. The first supporter was the Danube Networker group in Ulm, but now we stepped up in a lot of other places. It's individuals, but mostly groups working with us. And the aim is to build bridges, as I said, bridges between people in the Danube region, but also in the whole Europe. And our aim is to foster common understanding, to strengthen civil society, to create sustainable networks, and to foster European awareness between people of all countries, ethics, cultures, and generations. This is very important for us to make a crossover. And that means Europe, that something which affects me personally. This is very important for our message. And so it's very important also to bring right to the door the things we do. And so let us see a little bit how we do it. The first project was a very small one. It was Grundtvig based, and it was in 2008. And the aim was with 6 partners from 6 Danube countries to create texts about bridges and other topics. And as I said, not only bridges in reality. We discovered and we made interviews with people living on the bridges, working on these bridges and so on along the Danube, but also bridges between peoples. And we collected songs and poems and so on. And it was so good start, and so many people have been involved that we continued. And in the same project, by the way, each partner created maps of natural monuments, cultural heritage, natural heritage. They worked out, and it was a big discussion in each group, which of the many natural monuments we have in our country is worth to be made known to the others. And it was a hard discussion inside. It was a big discovery learning for all to see such a lot of very interesting natural monuments in all these countries. Now I go over to 2020. It's, you see, a long period, and I will make you know what we are doing now. And then I will give you one example in detail. We worked in big projects, and culture is a very important objective. And we worked about Bread Connects and made a lot of activities in all these countries, but not only in the country, but we make crossover activities. So we sent a pass from Ulm, a bread dough, to all the assets, and they made dough with on this base, and then they gave this dough to others and so on. And so we are always networking also to give a sign of community by bread. And now we are going on with culture, personal cultural heritage. But what to do in Corona time? It's always easy to be in contact because we are far away one from the others, but we had meetings. But Corona time blocked all. This is one challenge we had. The other challenge is a very big one we have to speak about, I think. It's a language, because we have not a common language. We are speaking English as bridge language, but nobody is native speaker. And we in Germany, unfortunately, we don't speak Bulgarian, Romanian, Hungarian, and so on, and vice versa. And a lot of our people involved learned in school time Russian and not English. And so how to overcome? And so we discovered by Zoom, we have translator channels, and we always had the translation by written in the other languages, the most important text. But now we are connected also by voice and in reality, not face to face, but online, with all these people who are interested in speaking English or not speaking English. And this is very, very important if we want to give the possibility to a lot of people to discover the Danube region. We have to speak about language and how we can overcome this barrier. So, but the point was that we said social distancing is not existing. Physical distancing was existing. And so we tried by Zoom to overcome the barrier, and we started a secure, stable video with Zoom, a stable video platform, a lot of tools and a lot of activities with chat, reaction, whiteboard, breakout room, translation channels, and more. And it was built up virtual groups of interest to meet friends and make new friends for and with senior citizens. This was the first step. And we focused on topics. This is a very important thing in our network. We need the digital tools, surely, but the digital tools are not the aim. They are instruments to be in contact, and in contact by themes. Themes are culture and nature, and so, and everyday life. And we are following the principle of learning by doing. So we created the project Codanec. The Codanec project means make known your personal cultural heritage. And we have now collected 180 personal cultural heritage coming from all these countries. And always the text is in English and in the mother language. And often we try to translate in other languages. And we have also a lot of materials and photos, and this is very important. Here you see the presentation of one of our seniors, Blue Dye Craft on the Danube Swabians, and it's on video, and it's translated in different by video, in different by subtitles in different cultures. And this project, My Personal Cultural Treasure, brings people to reflect on their personal cultural treasure and tell others about, but also everyone learns about immaterial cultural treasure of others. And they learn, by the way, to use practical internet application, pictures editing, video conference, using translation tools, and so on. So we created come together sessions, lectures, language courses, film and literature, creative writing courses, virtual learning courses, and others. You see, here is one of the most important sessions we make for the moment. It's come together in time of Corona by culture. And we meet Sunday evening, all 2 weeks. There are participants from different countries of all ages. We started with seniors, now it's from all ages. It's every time 50 to 60 participants from 6 to 8 countries. Also now some from Great Britain and France and Italy, sometimes at least. And we make translations into Bulgarian, Romanian, and German via Zoom. Motto is from friends, for friends, with music and dance. Presentation of personal cultural treasures, and all what we do you can see on live stream on the website. And we discovered a lot, and by these meetings people are interested now to discover more about the culture and the country of the others. This is a very important point. You see, we are a lot and we are connected, and it's starting from the own house. Everybody is at home, but we are connected and we are singing and exchanging cultural treasures and also discussing. But we have also other things we do with presentations and workshops, and we have conversation groups in English, French, Italian, and German, because there are people who know a little bit the language, but they have not practiced it, and so they are very shy. And so to bring them to language and to contacts. And we make regular virtual topic-oriented roundtables. And we make a qualification for project managers to use new methods online and face-to-face. And we train also our learners to use internet for example, here for creative writing as part of the work of the group, making interviews and to publish them for the others. This is a very nice thing we made last year. It's an advent calendar, and it was made by, it's not 17, it was 37 contributions coming from 70 countries. And every morning at 9 o'clock, you could open a door and there was a presentation from a person or from a group concerning cultural treasure, a song, a poem, or how to receive and so on. And it was so well accepted. They asked us to make it also this year. We made an international calendar and a German calendar, and both had been very accepted. And you see below, this is a Christmas song by a group in German, German Christmas singers, but you have also in Bulgarian, and this on the right side is a Moldavian family singing for us. But we make also singing together sessions, and we make cooking together, and it's a very fine thing. And by this, and we made a big conference, and a lot of methods had been showed and discussed in this conference. You will see a lot in our website. I think Eloy.net, this is the most important, because you have a short introduction in all our projects since 2008, and especially in the next one. But for finishing, I will just make you known one other, wait, I have to look to get it. It's the site of Taste of Danube, and you will find it here. It's the Eloy site, and you will have all projects here. You see? And this is Kodanek. And we made in Kodanek a lot of different approaches. It was with also competitions, with, we made a youth Kodanek, we made, here it's was a call for the best photos of cultural treasure and so on. And what is so important for all of us is to bring together and to give the feeling of diversity in unity. This is the most important thing of our network, to accept that we are different and to have a look what is in common, to give the awareness of Europe as a same project of peace and solidarity, but it demands and it helps to be connected and to know from each other more, because we have a lot of prejudices and so on, and to overcome these barriers and to involve a lot of people. Now we have a lot of young people involved. This is our aim and our vision and what we are doing. I thank you very much for giving me time to inform you a little bit about, and I hope you will get in contact with me if you're interested to hear more about. You have here my email. It's carmen.stadelhofer@uni-ulm.de, and I think it would be a good thing to be more informed what we are doing, and perhaps we can start something together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Karen. You inspired us a lot. I'm amazed how you can get somehow potential out of these COVID times and make a project that really connects people and explore their treasures during the COVID. We were very much inspired by them, even though I hope we are exiting COVID time and next time we can meet also in person and make nice projects also together, maybe also offline, but it was very inspiring. Thank you very much. And the last online presentation will be from Ute Meyer. And we want to know more about the new European Bauhaus initiative, something very important going on in the European Union, a new platform, a new creative and interdisciplinary initiative. And let's hear what is it and how is it related to the Danube. So please, I give the word to you.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Thank you for inviting us. I'm saying actually it's two of us in the room, in the virtual room. There should be another little Zoom tile with Alexander Wetzig. And we decided I'm going to have the presentation, but it's actually the two of us standing behind this initiative. I'm going to share my screen with you, and I hope this works out. You can see that, right?
Yes.
Yes. So I have the feeling after hearing all these inspiring project presentations, I first need to say we don't have any project history yet. We are a very, very young initiative. In fact, we are only a couple of weeks old, less than 4 months really. We don't have any funding. We don't have any website. We just basically have the spirits and the enthusiasm to do things in the future. And I'm really, really happy that we can share this with you so early on. So thank you very much for having us. I would like to talk a little bit about this idea and the initiative now. You are all familiar, I think, with the guys on the left top, the original Bauhaus in Dessau in the early 20th century. And they had come together to combine new building technologies with revolutionary or at least progressive design attitudes and a social agenda. You might or might not be familiar with the guys on the bottom. Those are the people from the HFG, Hochschule für Gestaltung, which would be University of Design initiative or school after World War II. There people had come together, designers had come together in Ulm after the World War to put themselves into the heritage of the Bauhaus spirit and to culturally digest the technological changes and of course also the disruptions of the war. And they had, in addition to that sort of digesting process and bringing building technology and culture together, they had a very strong and important and explicitly declared political agenda. So on the right-hand side, so you see where we now are. We have a very important and strong initiative coming from the European Union. President von der Leyen has declared the necessity for a new European Bauhaus last year. And to do what? Well, to do exactly that, to digest the technological, social, global changes and disruptions we all experience today, and to install a constructive and conceptual digestion of the new Green Deal. This is the commitment of the new European Bauhaus. It said new actions and funding are needed to link sustainability to style and inclusion. So this is the agenda really, or the concept. We want to be resilient, inclusive, and beautiful. These are the goals, and I was quite amazed, I have to say, that the agenda that was suggested by a high-level roundtable of experts to the European Union Committee has influenced very strongly the recent communication they have issued in September 21. So these are the main 4 goals, just to mention a few: reconnecting with nature. Of course, we've heard about it this morning. Again, regaining a sense of belonging all over Europe, prioritizing the places and people that need it the most. I think that's a very important and a bit maybe a shift also in European policy, and fostering, fostering long-term life cycle thinking in the industrial age. So I think if you read through this, everybody would agree in a way that these are the issues that need to be tackled. The question simply is how to get there, and who can and who will do it. Oops, I'm sorry about this. So this slide is missing. The new European Bauhaus believes in process. We learned they have staged a very sophisticated process, collecting ideas, challenges, and positions throughout Europe during the last 12 months, and bundled them in that progressive agenda I was mentioning with the help of the high-level roundtable. So this is where we basically draw our power or our inspiration from. What could be in perspective, or what could be perspectives for that kind of agenda for a new European Bauhaus on the Danube? Let me start with a statement. We sort of we started to draw out in the initiative so far. The catchment area of the Danube River is one of the most heterogeneous and fragmented territories on the globe. I'm sure everybody in the room agrees to that. There's an unparalleled diversity of languages and cultures. We've just heard about it. Religious and political beliefs, geographical and human landscapes, income and lifestyle. Historically and to date, it is a region of controversies and ruptures, but also, and this is something you would sort of want to buy in, of power, drawn from this in-between conditions and the great spirit inhabiting hybrid identities. Both and conditions in a constant flux determine the life of 85 million, and all those people deserve a livable future. And the livable future is that what the new European Bauhaus strives for, in a combination and in a synergy of natural and urban design developments. What we also think is that the Danube way to approach these issues, exactly because it is so fragmented and it is so heterogeneous and so diverse, this could be a test case. It could be a role model and a pilot for many similar conditions Europe-wide, or somebody in our meeting said actually worldwide. So therefore we started an initiative. Alexander, who is here with me, Alexander Wetzig, he is a planner and president of the HFG Ulm, former University of Design Foundation Board. And me, and I'm a planner, actually I'm urbanist, and I teach also in the region, and I have a sort of a soft spot for these kind of initiatives and projects. So on the left-hand side, you see the people that we started to bring together from all over the Danube region. They are professionals from a diverse background: design, urban design, architecture, culture related in our case. They come from several countries. They were able to join us in September 24th in Ulm. And although it's all only starting and we have only briefly met, there are some things we could already agree on. We want to build a think tank based on our common wavelength, which was immediately felt in the room. We want to initiate projects which are, in this case, more cultural or planning or architectural projects, and drive change. And we want to bundle and choreograph efforts to get visible. Of course, it's always a good idea to join forces to achieve things, but we also felt or feel very strongly that it's also important to join brains and hearts to think and process design in a better way, in a different way from the past. So what we did so far in the initiative was draft an early paper, and quite purposefully and a bit, with the wink of an eye, has a manifesto style. And I want to present that to you, because that's basically what we have so far. The new European Bauhaus on the Danube could be, or wants to be, a think tank, a think and do network, radical, consistent, and uncompromising. Here you hear the manifesto style. It wants to emotionalize transformation, to design narratives for the future. It wants to take us from lecture rooms to the streets. In fact, many of the people you've just seen on the screen are academics, or in one way or the other linked to academia. It wants to test nomadic learning. Oh, this is tricky here because I can't see my screen because I see all the faces. The new European Bauhaus wants to collect, sharpen, and share knowledge. It wants to be the missing link between what? The missing link between professional knowledge on one side and on-site local expertise, the knowledge side, and the challenges on the ground, of course. So this is where what we want to link, because we believe there's a lot of knowledge around. It just needs to be collected and linked to the actual needs. The new European Bauhaus wants to use utopia as a method, not as an output. There's a whole load of literature behind this statement. The next one is, we want to ask new questions. So actually ask, what is the question? Not relapse back on what we, on solutions that we know, but look forward and start always to find out what is the real question here. And last, we want to be home and habitat. So you feel, you hear in all these statements, there's a strong mindset saying, let's go forward, let's have the spirit, and let's be once more avant-garde maybe, but involving all the time, all the people on the ground. We had one participant, Ivan Kuchina, from Belgrade original, who has sketched out already a long list of potentially self-evaluating keywords. We're certainly not going to read through them, but I just want to give you again the spirit of this whole initiative: environmental concerns, local knowledge, life experience, and so forth. We sketched out 4 matters that I want to mention briefly. What could this be about? This could obviously be about urban design issues, wild lands and wild cities. We found that many cities are losing people along the Danube. Others are doubling their population in one generation. So this is a huge issue. We think we could easily connect up to this with the spirit of harvest from what is there, register local conditions and build up on them. Second, spirit of the in-between. I've mentioned that before, to take exactly the fragmentation of the carpet of lands and use and productive and city fragments into that large pattern, to build on this in-between condition and come up with new solutions that involve many diverse actors. Riverwatch, the Danube is an amazing interface between all sorts of things, but looking at it, we found, and many people reported it on our meeting, it seems to be a backyard instead of a showcase, so that could also change. And lastly, Academy of the Commons, We were dreaming about becoming a traveling academy, not being present in one space only, but traveling from space to space and becoming sort of foreshadowing development in one and leaving traces in another. Of course, we have an agenda. We want to intensify our exchange and networks. We want to develop a method in between us on how to work in initial projects, work initially with young people and students, all of us coming, or most of us coming from an academic background. That will be easy. And then, of course, cross-critique and keep networking. And lastly, of course, in the long run, we want to shape inclusive projects, raise the funding for them, and work locally in the spirit of what I've tried to roll out for you here very briefly. Thank you very much for having us so early. And I hope I got a little bit the idea and the sort of the temperament of the initiative across.
We are very, very eager to see where this very innovative new network will develop to, and we are happy that our colleagues are also part of it, and that next time we'll be able to meet you also in person, I hope. So we continue with offline presentations. So the first one will be Gal Germendi, from Danube travel stories. I think we should have. Come and finally shoot on live as well. We have so we have Alexander Stober after this.
Okay, good morning and welcome everybody. I've got 15 minutes or so and I've got like a million slides. So I will try to keep a sort of dynamic pace and introduce you to both our project, the DANUrB Travel Stories, and our organization, the Westbanon team, and whatever we do, whatever we've been doing for the last more than 10 years, and what we are planning to do in the next period. So, Travel Stories is not a simple project. It basically meshes together a number of different concepts. Sustainable tourism, sustainable mobility, and a very strong narrative dimension along the river Danube. So cultural routes and protected areas, green mobility, and making one large ecosystem of tourism, sustainable tourism products out of this. So cultural routes and protected areas we have a lot. I'm just going to skip slide by slide. This one's especially important for us because this is the one we are managing, and we really think that this is a very good thing. However, Saint Martin tour, or Via Saint Martin, is our lead. But then there is the Jewish heritage route, Iter Vitis, which concerns wines. Then there's one for Roman emperors, more wine, Art Nouveau, emperors and kings, and some more protected areas in a wide variety of ways. And then there are the Danube Pearls, which are actually a result from a predecessor project, because DANUrB Travel Stories is actually the third one in a series of projects, all managed by Linz. So we have an Austrian lead partner, but we've all been working together from Romania, Serbia, up to Germany to work out sustainable and really interesting and attractive tourism routes. So what do we mean by this new approach? On the one hand, we are working with trails and routes, but the Danube basin, this kaleidoscope of people, of histories, of ideas, of tastes, of smells, of heritage, is really such an organic and such a complex mishmash of everything that the trails, which focus on very specific aspects, do not really do it justice. So we've developed, and not just us, but we've worked with researchers and historians. And so it's not just some people decided that these were good ideas, but we've worked out 6 trails or 6 stories that encompass the whole of the Danube region. Diversity, nature, history, up to the Romans and then beyond, spirituality, commerce. These are all so strong calling words, such strong narratives that can shape and link the different routes, the different attractions, the different destinations. And these routes can shape up and be sort of mental hooks to give a new dimension for visiting around the Danube basin. So these are the 6 trails that were drawn up, and these are the 6 trails that we are developing actively. So we have a number of innovative promotion approaches. Yes, every project promises. Hopefully, we can have some added value to this arena here as well. We do work with so-called product clubs. I'm going to come back to that a bit later. These are actually local networks of both actors and regulators. So these are really tight-knit and down-to-earth collaborations about the motivations and the very specific versions of the ideas of the 6 stories. Then there's a winter school for guides, because of course we're planning guides. I've already been talking for 6 minutes, but okay. And we are developing a number of digital tools as well. These are some general pictures about digital tools we are imagining. I'm pretty sure that we are not going to work with dinosaurs, but there you go. Just product clubs, that was something that I mentioned. Every region has their own and is working with their own. And then there is the added mobility and sustainable mobility dimension to this. So I think this is something we are bringing to the table. Designing these trails to be traveled sustainably, not just focusing on bikes, not just focusing on trains, but designing a so-called holistic approach of green and sustainable travel and mobility along this, and preparing the guides to enable this. That's something new that I believe we're bringing to the table. So we have some ideas for that as well. I'm not going to stay too long on here. But of course, we are making plans, we are writing different papers, and we are educating everyone around as much as we can. So once again, coming back to the beginning where we've started, this is not a simple project. We are colliding ideas that are usually treated very separately from each other. But with this long-lasting cooperation of partners, we are really coming up to some really nice results, and we do believe that this is something meaningful we are achieving here. Then there is the DANUrB Travel Challenge, which is going to be a one-time campaign or PR stunt, having influencers and having invited people travel parts or the whole trail, and then document it and have them compete, have them blow it out of proportion as much as possible. So that is basically the project. We are West Pannon team. We have an unpronounceably long company name as well, but just stick with West Pannon team. That we will call for that. So we've been working in regional development for, well, technically we consider ourselves kind of the inheritors or heirs of the West Trans-Danubian Regional Development Agency. So altogether more than 20 years. In the last 10 years, we've been working as West Pannon. We've been participating in like 50 or so, even more interregional projects, and working with an ever-widening network of stakeholders. What we are working on is keeping a sustainable, how would you call it? So a self-sustaining network of interests and motivations that drives itself towards common goals. So we hope not to just produce papers, but to show people how a better future, how our versions of a better future would look like, and then try to work out how would that go together with everybody else's dreams, and then build that dream into a common reality. That was us. Thank you for your attention. And I'll be here for a while.
Again, we do believe our projects will cooperate as much as possible in the future. So very much related in networking. And we're very happy that we're taking these cultural routes. For example, our project deliberately doesn't, so we can, have a cooperation in that. Okay, we are sharing the screen. Now I ask for Alexandra. Yes, we were sitting in the end of that. Ciclocultura. Nice to say in Hungarian, but you will say it in English. So it's other project complete related to such. I think now also our online viewers see our presentation as well. So please.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gal. This was very inspiring. Okay, so my name is Alexandra Stojko. I come from Sombor, Serbia, and I represent the NGO Ciclocultura, which is also pronounced as, translated as cycling pool tours. So it's basically the continuation of Gal's. I got really inspired, and I really hope to work with you. So you'll see now our presentation. Basically, we were established in 2016, and we have more than 100 members of all ages. with free of charge membership. So we actually organize the cycling tours for all ages, and we're basically supported by the city of Sombor. So basically today I'll just go through the experiences of the Interreg projects we've done together, some of the activities, and the stakeholders we're working with. So basically the question is whether we're going to present Sombor as the city of culture, the greenery, or the cycling city. So it's kind of an interconnected relationship, and the cycling heritage is something which is, let's say, inseparable. As you might have noticed, well, you couldn't because it's not noted, but basically all the maps from the previous presentations were going through or along Sombor. So we're on Eurobello 6, we're on Via Patris Pannonian, which is connecting the peace route, connecting the Osijek, the city of Osijek and Sombor, Upper Danube, which yesterday we discussed whether Sombor is supposed to be named as the Upper Danube region or the middle or the lower. Well, basically not the lower, but basically probably the middle. And yeah, the project we're very happy to be part of, the Amazon of Europe, which you've heard the presentation. So I'll start with Amazon of Europe just shortly. Urška already presented it. So the great idea about this is actually connecting 5 countries along 3 rivers. So it's Mura, Drava, and Danube. Connecting the Biosphere Reserve, which got the title last 2 years ago. And the other project, which is important for us, is the Greenway Zika projects, connecting the kayaking and cycling routes along the Upper Danube region and Sombor. Some of the activities all of our activities include cycling, obviously. Some are focused on the culture, some on the history, and predominantly we're outdoors, we're in nature, and we're in forests. When it's seen from the organizational point, we had the police department supporting us, the first aid car, etc., etc. So the big rides were very, very well organized and facilitated. Due to the COVID situation, we shifted on the Viber group, so we weren't that formally organized, but we continued writing elsewhere. And we're also organizing exhibitions, taking part in book promotions, workshops, concerts, and organizing some parties. Of course, without Corona. What's interesting is that we have the participants that are young as little babies on a bike, rode by, or actually with their parents, and we had grannies as well. So obviously our average is between 15 and 20 kilometers per hour. Yeah, some of the shots, some of the moments, and some of the important stakeholders we're working with is obviously the WWF, so World Wildlife Fund, for whom we worked on a big jump for the Amazon of Europe, Vojvodina Šume, so the forests of Vojvodina, Vode Vojvodina, which is waters of Vojvodina, some of the important cycling clubs, Estin and Brka Sombor, and many others. When I say many others, this is interesting because our idea is to connect the local stakeholders with the regional organizations. So it's going to connect. Why I say going to? Because it stopped for 2 years due to the COVID and all right, all that. So it's going to basically connect the local accommodation, the local restaurants, small museums, galleries, etc., with the bigger organizations, thus being part of bigger projects. So our vision with this project is basically re-establishing cycling as the main type of urban traffic in Sombor and influencing the revitalization of the urban lifestyle of Sombor. And that would be it. Thank you very, very much for the patience. If you would like to get in touch, you can either approach us or find us on Instagram and mail. Thank you very much again.
As you showed very well, you're already part of all of these networks. So we hope that with this event and the future events, you will be able to cooperate even more personally. So, actually, we know him from Instagram, GTC, and they showed us now a new project very much connected. So I just know.
Yes. Yes.
Oct.
Okay. Thank you. So thank you for the opportunity to be here, and I'd like to welcome you in our region because Esztergom and Stúrovo is the region of Istergranum EGTC. This is a Euro region. As you can see here, we are not far from Budapest. And we are working here and doing lots of development. We have 82 municipalities as members of our EGTC. They are approximately equally divided on the Slovak and Hungarian side. And we have lots of projects, lots of priorities. One of them is the local product cluster, creating a network of local products. And especially it is specific because it is a cross-border cluster. So, we are also running the local brand, so the local brand of local products. And I'd like to introduce this project to you. And we are also doing many infrastructural projects. Let's just mention the border crossing across the river Danube between Esztergom and Komárom. And it will be a ferry connection across the river Danube. And we are also building cycle paths which will pass the river Ipoly across the newly built bridge between Helemba and Ipoly Damage in the Danube near Helemba. So this is our region. And I'd like to introduce the local product project. You can see the Istergranum region, and we are working together with the local action groups, which are in 3 counties. So sometimes our region is bigger than the Istergranum EGTC region, because of these organizations as our partners. And the story reaches mostly 10 years back. when our assembly decided on priorities. So it means infrastructural project, tourism, the logistic zone, and one of the priorities was also the local products. Organization of study and trips we made, and we have founded cooperations. And then we met the producers, more hundreds of them. We visited them personally on their farms, and we made a database of these producers. Then we registered a trademark on Hungarian side, and the preparation of publications begin. We have more than 5 publications on local products. We begin with producers, then winemakers, and we specialize the publication on these local product topics. So after, as I mentioned, it is a cross-border project. We are working cross-border with 2 legislations of 2 states, which is quite difficult to make everything easy. So we need to assess legal barriers. We did that, and we made a brochure, which is a good help for local producers, what they can or cannot sell. And after that, we submitted a project, which is called a Territorial Action Plan for Employment. And I'd like to show you what it includes and what we are trying to fulfill this local product cluster with. So we are working on the Eastern GTC territory. We have 2,020 inhabitants, more than 2 million tourists a year, coming mostly here in Esztergom and in Stúrava. And goals are improving the employment situation on the Slovak side, improving the operating conditions of producers, cross-border integration of markets, and development of cross-border local product network. So here you see our partners who are involved into our local product project, and the integration of local product, we have activities. So it is a capacity development, improving competitiveness, increasing quality, get products onto the market. It is a main goal of our project, improving cooperation between producers and shaping customers' attitude. There is the implementation gap. Our project lasts till 2022, so 1 more year. And here are individually our partners' projects. So first one is creation of wine lab. It is help for wine producers and winemakers. Metal system, exhibition center. It will be, you can see those meteorologic stations to help the wine producers. And one workplace, because it is employment. So the project is focusing on employment, and it must create workplaces. So this project creates one workplace. The next is delivery, so for development of regional processing and retailing capacities, pasteurizing, packaging, and etiketting machine will be so we will buy this machine, and that will help the producers from the whole region pack and to etiquette their products. Also, mobile containers will be obtained and receiving points will be developed. And also 5 workshops organized. So next, we will also create markets, because it is very important local producers to come and to get opportunity to sell their products. So in Šturovo and in Esztergom, we will make local markets. It will be House of Regions, so-called. It is some bigger thing. So also an info center will be there for tourists, and also a local product market. And also event hall, show courtyard, event garden, and porch will be developed, and 2 new workplaces within that project. So the next market is in Spodin. It is not far from here, and in Nagymaros. So 3 further markets will be developed, and 1 new workplace will be created. So here you can see our visual of local products. So somehow this is the visualization of our product, and we hope the sustainability of this cluster will be also successful, because our organization and with civic cooperation, we can be able to do this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan. In DANUrB, actually, we want to connect to all of such EGTCs and local producers associations. So you are our first one who we spotted out and start, preferably in the future, start a cooperation with many other like you, bigger network maybe. So now to end, we have 2 other presentations. Christian Hanus, also Kovac, please come here. The 2 last presentations are related somehow to our DANUrB project even more, because first of all, our university in this next project, the Living Danube Limes project, is quite involved. So that's why we have Gerge. And also because, of course, with Christianus, we started the first DANUrB project, and we'll continue in the future as well. So we are very much related. So please talk about this project and a bit about how also there's a local involvement in the general involvement. So it's a short introduction of Living Danube Limes. Welcome, first of all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alin, for the introduction. Thank you very much. And thank you very much also for the invitation and for the opportunity to see you after 2 years, more than 2 years, again here in Šturovo. The last time I have seen you personally, it was in Šturovo. It was in summer 19, and now on the other side, in Esztergom, we have the opportunity to see us. It's really a pleasure. Thank you. And hello, ladies and gentlemen. I have now the great pleasure and honor to present you one of our projects. Is named Living Danube Limes. I want also speak a little about the context of this project. In all this project, we are working on it. So our university is working in a lot of international projects that is dealing with the Danube region. We are also the Danube University. Also, it's our responsibility to work on the Danube. And since a lot of years, you can see here some examples. We are focused on the Danube Limes also. Danube Limes brand, that was also one of the big projects we worked on it. The idea was to promote the market of the Danube Limes in some countries. It was not very represented, it was not in the awareness of in the collective awareness. We worked also on a high-level scientific project. It was the Danube Future Interdisciplinary School. We elaborated papers for scientific project there. DANUrB, that was our first common project. I think here I don't have to explain it. Creative Danube, the other project we are working on it together. And also Living Danube Limes, I will speak about the project. So that is the context. We are working on the development of the region, on to enlarge the sustainability, the development of the cultural properties, also to conserve it for the future and to promote it. You can see that is the Danube region. It's marked in blue color. That is the Danube, that are nearly 2,000, more than 2,000 kilometers from Regensburg to the Black Sea. That is the section. And this section of the frontiers of the Roman Empire, the Danube Limes, is finally only one section of the whole frontiers of the Roman Empire. The length is about 8,000 kilometers. Some sections are just World Heritage, listed as World Heritage Sites of the UNESCO. It's the Hadrian's Wall, it's the Upper German region, Limes, the Antonine Wall, the Lower German Limes, it's new now since some weeks, and also the German, Austrian and Slovak section of the Danube Limes. That is the first step. We have also some section of the Danube Limes. They are listed on the tentative list. The nomination is in preparation. And we have also a certain section of the Tunisian Limes on the tentative list. And that is also a very interesting circumstance. We have our common heritage, longer than 2,000 kilometers. It's incredible. We have a common heritage with different sites, and they are in a whole context. And finally, if you are analyzing this aspect, that the South Tunisian Limes is also now listed, it's also very difficult to find a so-called outstanding universal value for a World Heritage Site. That is finally the reason why an object can be listed. The outstanding universal value, it's unique, it's so important for the work. And we have, that was very interesting, the discussion about the outstanding universal value, because all countries have a different approach to this common heritage. This was a very interesting discussion. And now we have found a common outstanding universal value, and the Tunisian Limes is also now listed. So finally, we are in the responsibility to get in discussion also with them, to discuss with them and with the other countries in Asia, in Africa, in the whole Europe. So that is a very, very great project finally. And the Danube Limes, there is no wall. The frontier was the natural frontier, the river. We have towers, we have fortifications, we have military towns, civil towns along this infrastructure. And that is the characteristic in all these countries. And we have just made a lot of activities, conferences, activities with children, the dissemination, the virtual reconstruction, the prospection, and all this. And finally, on this basis, we concepted this Living Danube Limes project that is one of the biggest projects in this context. And now we have the pleasure to be there, the lead partner, our university with Anna Kaiser. He's responsible for the project at our university. And we have there 19 project partners, 27 associate strategic partners, and from 10 countries. This was the basis. The other projects were the basis. We had the connection, we had the experience to work together. So it was so important to work on this level. What will be the content of the project? A common Roman brand for the Danube, to foster the common Roman brand. Also to establish, we have heard before, a cultural route for the Danube Limes, for the Danube region along the Danube Limes, to develop strategies for preservation and management. That is very important for the future. And finally, to foster the green and sustainable tourism development. We have the dimension of archaeology and history. It's the analysis of the object. Finally, we have to recognize what we have. Then the next step is the dissemination. The museums are very good for the dissemination. Finally, we have to protect and to conserve it and to provide it. So we need protection measures and also a sustainable tourism solution for an economic base and for the dissemination. And finally, that is also a content of the project, a cruise along the Danube with a historic and antique Roman ship. That are the four dimensions of the project: to analyze the object, then the virtual reconstruction, to analyze the project, to identify research gaps, and finally to the dissemination and virtual reconstruction. That is very difficult always when you have archaeological sites, because you have a field with potatoes and under it is a great heritage. And how you can describe it. That could be in context of this 8,000 kilometer long heritage. So it's very important to communicate these contents. We have to characterize this region that is very, very interesting about the heritage. That is the aspect of the analysis of the research. Not all is known. Then finally, we have also the virtual reconstruction on this base, or on the base of the research. We have to reconstruct the contents, and finally, we have this dissemination aspect. Also, it's necessary, the word is protection of cultural property, climate change, also to elaborate concepts for the protection and the conservation. Also, the sustainable tourism on bicycle, perhaps like in the Bauhaus, that was during the DANUrB project. We were there with the apps. We proved the apps. And so, what is the conclusion? My conclusion: this region is very rich with cultural and natural heritage. That is incredible, this region. Then we have an enormous development potential in this region, but we have also a lot of challenges, and that is very difficult to strengthen, to foster the sustainable development. That is absolutely the main task. And it's also necessary capacity building to educate the responsible persons for the future. They are responsible to conserve, to provide this heritage. So that is also our responsibility. Finally, we have a lot of work to do. And I am so happy that we are working so good together. And also this idea, this DANUrB club, it's great. I'm absolutely happy to have the opportunity. So we will follow Captain DANUrB, and I think we will go together this way. Thank you very much.
We can add to this project actually because we have a partner from our university. So maybe some words very shortly on what is our contribution.
Thank you very much for the possibility to present here, and thank you very much for Professor Hans to organize and lead this project. We have a very wonderful possibility to take part in this Living Danube project as Budapest University on Technology and Economics. Actually, our department, the Department of History and Architecture and Monument Preservation, is really young in the Interreg project's life. So this is the first project where we participate, but we have an old and long history of education of the history of architecture and monument preservation. So this year we celebrated the 150th anniversary, and we would like just to show a few slides. Oh, yeah. So just a few slides that what we are participating in this project, because we have the opportunity to participate in all aspects of this holistic approach that you can see on the left, and Professor Hannes also provided us to show. And our profile is the education, the research, the history of architecture and monument preservation, but it's an outstanding opportunity to learn from our project partners, so the NTC Bulgarian guide, the Danube University grants as lead partner. So we involve the students in our project. We do the research together with them. We involve to the education, the most aspects of the project, and we learn a lot from the other approaches. Also in the project, there are several pilot sites, and one of the pilot sites are in Hungary. So we do our research generally in our Hungarian pilot site, Szászlombatta, and the education. We involve the Hungarian museums, the museum cluster, with the guidance of our colleagues of NTC Bulgarian Guide. We try to develop the protection and green tourism aspects with our associated strategic partners in Hungary. And we are really much looking forward to have the Roman ship and Roman vessel here in the territory of Hungary, which is constructed in Germany. So we generally work on our Hungarian pilot site, which is an important auxiliary castellum called Matrika by the Danube, with an important potential, but as Professor Hannes said, many of the heritage is under the surface. So that's why we are really much looking forward to our Austrian colleagues, the Ludwig Boltzmann Institution, who will come to Hungary in the next month and do the geoprospection project, which will be under the surface. And we do several participate or organize conferences. One of the professors of our department, Professor Gyula Hajnóci, was an important researcher of the Limes and the Roman heritage of Hungary. So we had the opportunity to organize a scientific conference with participants of the project last year. And also there was a conference this September with the potential of historic storytelling along the Roman Danube Limes, which was an important and very valuable output of the project, and many of them scholars and researchers could meet and share the ideas. Also, we have used the project in our education. The pilot site was the part of several of our lectures. we have met with the chief architect, we have met with several archaeologists, thematic courses on bird heritage and monument preservation we have organized. So the students could also have a kind of outline of the values of the project. So the research, the education, the design was in this pilot site actually. We have participated in a wonderful summer school in Serbia, where we could share the ideas and learn a lot from our Serbian colleagues. The thematics of this summer school was how to make invisible the visible, archaeological methodology and presentation in the digital era. So the students could learn their approach also. We are very much looking forward to welcome the Roman vessel, which is constructed and reconstructed in Germany by this project in the territory of Hungary. Also we participate in building the museum cluster with our colleagues. So we do events in the territory of Sassalon and nearby the Danube to disseminate the project's values for the publics. And looking forward, the Ludwig Boltzmann Institution to research on our pilot site and do physical measurements. So these are our main involvement in the project, and thank you very much for the possibility and also to meet here today.
Thank you very much. And we arrived to the last quite short presentation, but it's very important because it's related to the DANUrB project, a project which, of course, will continue with study trip to the small Danube, to stop today, and continue with our partner meeting and first year review in Bratislava after the next phase, and with study trip in actually Burgenland. But we're not talking about the DANUrB here, but about the Creative Danube Erasmus Plus project that was mentioned also by our previous speakers. So Andrzej Gastan will shortly show us how we can produce side projects to DANUrB to make in teaching real innovation because of DANUrB.
Thank you, Manu. Thank you, Alex, for giving me the opportunity to present a little bit, very shortly, as Manu said, our project. It's one of the projects which actually appeared during the first DANUrB, I remember very well, during dinner in Belgrade, when we had the idea, why not to foster much on the education, because actually, it's the background of all our action, and very much of the attitudes of the stakeholder possibilities and understanding of these values are coming at the base from the education, and especially from the academic education in which we are involved. So me as a professor in the University of Architecture and Urban Planning, Ion Mincu of Bucharest, being since many years involved in education in urban and landscape planning and design, we thought that this focus on the Danubian cities, but not on all Danubian cities, but especially on small and medium sized cities, is very important in our education because it brings a lot of new ideas of discovering and of innovation. Actually, it's put us in the position to innovate our teaching methods and to find new methods of teaching and learning about this topic, which is quite different on the others, on the whole domain of urban planning. So our main goal in this project entitled Danubian Small and Medium Cities, it's these innovative research and design tools applied into education. We try to find this, to develop and to test on pilot projects. We have 2 cities associated and on which we are working in Romania, but also the rest of the partnership are working on different sites in different cities. This partnership was, you could see here, it's quite large, and most of them are also part in the actual DANUrB. It's a partnership which is engaged in this topic of education, academic education within Erasmus Plus objectives. We try to follow our program, which is composed by different activities, especially fostering this this partnership, which is formed for this aim, and it's also composed by transnational meetings, short-term joint staff training events, as we already have one in Vienna last year, and also 3 intensive programs for teaching staff and for learners, for students. Very important because are important to get into the sites and propose solutions and develop ideas in joint workshops with students from all these universities involved in. But besides these activities, let's say on-site and offline activities and online activities, we are engaged to develop 3 intellectual outputs, which are one of these is the methodological guidelines and new theoretical and practical methods of interdisciplinary teaching. As I said, founding that this topic of small and medium cities are highly necessitating an interdisciplinary approach of not only planning, not only urban planning, but also landscape planning, architectural approach, seeing together all this green infrastructure of Danube and putting in connection of all this knowledge about Danube. So this is one of the intellectual outputs. Then it's also important to have a basis report of data collation of good practices and teaching and learning cross-border cooperation, and this is ongoing product of our project because this transferring of research and innovation in the continuing education is one of our goals. And also the final and maybe the most important one is to pave the road for a future teaching module, to create a framework of methodological concept of this topic of inclusive development of Danubian small and medium-sized cities. I think that this is important for our continuing education also, and by gathering all this knowledge into a educational product which could have a longer life and could be, how to say, the educative, the most educative engine of our vision, because it's our common vision. I just put together some of the keywords. Yes, just I'm finishing. Are passing through different concepts. You have it here. I will not read them anymore. And this new discipline of teaching urban and landscape planning is dedicated to smart dynamics of small and medium-sized cities within the territorial cohesion, to green solution within Danube natural infrastructure, and to inclusiveness. So thank you for your attention. I really try to be brief. The project is quite complex.
Thank you very much. It was so brief because actually in a few hours, the Erasmus Plus meeting of these small and medium cities will start in Bratislava. And of course, our partners will have to arrive there from here, but the all of Germany, even though there's a difficulty that they will close down the bridge today because of the celebration of the 20th anniversary. That is why we're very much were in a hurry. Sorry for that, but right now we will have an official ending to our conference, the first conference that we, as DANUrB, organized with our similar projects, which we want to foster better cooperation with. And I hope that this was just the start. And with the going down of COVID, this cooperation will come up. In the following year, we will do everything to do that and make new conferences and action plans for that. So this was the Saving Values First International Conference. And very much thank you for all of you being here online or offline. And very much thank you to the team of Kate, Esther Davida and Rita Szerencsés, especially, who put this thing together. We have all of your presentations. I hope we can use them. So if you are all allowing us, we will do that. And we will keep in touch because we see that these and other projects should cooperate, as we saw today, working for the same goal. So thank you very much. What we will do now is we will invite you to a cafe back in the that door. You can access that. And for everyone interested in this association that we are doing on DANUrB, we will continue in 10 minutes. There will be a photo wall back there, right? And so we have 10 minutes of coffee break, and we close now the online session. So thank you very much. Thank you, Eva, for being here. And thank you for participating in our conference. Thank you.
Thank you.